What's up everybody, this is the 179 Bob Killer bringing you yet another school project. Today, I'll be explaining the concept of growth mindset and more importantly, how this concept relates to video games. I've been super excited to make this video, so without further ado, let's jump right into this. So to start things off, we need to first figure out what exactly a growth mindset is. Well, according to the official definition, in a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent are just the starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. Now that's a lovely definition, but what does it look like in practice? Let's throw up an example. Let's say there are two kids, Max and John. They both are attempting to learn how to juggle. Both kids try and fail, but Max isn't discouraged by his failure. He picks up the balls and tries again. He's eager to learn and works hard to develop those skills and eventually become successful. John, on the other hand, is discouraged by his failure. He thinks to himself that he just isn't good at juggling, and decides to quit. John exhibits what's called a fixed mindset. In a fixed mindset, people believe that their basic qualities, like their intelligence or talent, are simply fixed traits. You see, the terms growth and fixed mindsets were coined by Carol Dweck, an American psychology professor who has spent years studying the effects of motivation on student learning. She and her fellow colleagues began to notice that students tended to approach failure in two main ways. They were either devastated or encouraged after failing a task. These two reactions then dictated how the students either continued working on or gave up on the task. So with that brief recap of growth mindset out of the way, we arrive at the real question everyone's waiting for. What do video games have to do with growth mindset? This is Project Sekai, also known as Colorful Stage. This game is a mobile game that places you, the player, in a world where Vocaloids and humans work together to perform tasks. Oh, what? You don't know what a Vocaloid is? A Vocaloid is a singing voice synthesizer software, say that 10 times fast, that allows people to create songs using a voice bank. Vocaloids really hit it off in Japan, and some of the more popular ones even have characters attached to them. Some of the more famous ones, the ones featured in this game, are Miku, Mako, Luka, Kaito, Rin, and Len. This game has tons of features, like fun stories to flesh out the characters, and even VR concerts. But the main focus of today's video lies within the main part of the game, playing songs. And by playing, I mean vigorously tapping your phone screen hoping that you can hit every note to pass a song. Jokes aside, Project Sekai is primarily a rhythm tapping game. It sends notes down the track where players must tap, hold, or flick them as they approach. Missing the notes will result in the loss of your life and losing at any combos that you've been keeping. And if your life total ever reaches 0, you lose. It's also going to be very important to know that the track where notes are sent down is called the song's map. I will be using this term a lot in this video, so be sure to make a mental note of it. So how does this game demonstrate growth mindset? You see, this game, like most games, has multiple attributes that facilitate the player to improve their skill over time. So I'm going to break down how each of these attributes help develop a growth mindset within the player. One of the first and most obvious attributes about this game is that it has a difficulty system: easy, normal, hard, expert, and master. These broad difficulties quickly tell the player what style of map the song will have. Choose easy, and the player can expect single tap notes and single hold notes that line up with major beats of the song. Choose hard, and the player can expect double tap notes, double flick notes, and double hold notes. Choose master, and the player can expect off-size and close-spaced tap notes, flick notes in multiple directions, and hold notes that form weird shapes or have very different finger patterns. This gives players agency in how their experience playing the game will be. They aren't forced into a situation where they could become discouraged by playing at only high or low difficulties. This, in turn, enables the development of a growth mindset within the player. The player can discover which starting difficulty is best for them, and then experience a gratifying feeling of success after each song is completed. Also, Master difficulty is locked until you do really well on Expert, so players won't choose it and become discouraged by how hard it looks. Project Sekai also uses a second difficulty system, but this time, instead of determining the broad technicality of the map, it determines the intensity of the map on a number scale. What do I mean by this? Let me show you with a quick example. These are two sections of Expert difficulty songs that are rated on a different song level. As you can see, the intensity of the maps are very different, but the technicality of the songs generally remains the same. This supports the development of a growth mindset in a few ways. It allows players to experience challenges and practice their skill within their preferred difficulty. When learning Expert difficulty, a player can start with a level 22 song, and then work their way up to a level 30 song. It allows players not to be blindsided when playing a new song. This allows them to understand how difficult a song will be before actually playing it. It also allows players to experience slightly more difficult map patterns that prepare them for higher difficulties. For example, high-level Expert songs will often have note patterns that resemble lower-level Master songs. This enables players to become familiar with and be prepared for higher difficulty songs. All of these aspects to song levels are what reinforces the player's ability to learn and improve within the game. Project Sekai also features a multiplayer game mode. This can pair players with up to 4 other random people or friends. The multiplayer mode in this game really showcases how a growth mindset is encouraged. First of all, players are not directly competing with each other, but rather working together to achieve a high score. This negates any feelings of discouragement that players may develop if they feel like they can lose the game. Multiplayer also encourages players to perform the best that they can within their preferred difficulty. The game rewards more points for doing really well in a lower difficulty than just doing okay or bad in a higher difficulty. Multiplayer also builds players' agency by allowing players to each choose a song that will be randomly selected for everyone to play. This helps players feel like they won't be trapped with really difficult songs constantly being selected. All of these aspects of multiplayer guide players to achieve success and thus continue to develop their growth mindset. Project Sekai also tells players in real time how well they are playing by stating whether the notes they are hitting are bad, good, great, or perfect. Each word is highlighted in a different color to make it easily recognizable without forcing the player to read what it says. There's also a small audio cue that plays that sounds different for each hit. This feature makes it so that players can adjust their gameplay in real time while not having to force their attention to be directed elsewhere. This process of minimizing strain on the player's brain enables them to focus and concentrate while playing. Project Sekai also allows players to continue the song when they run out of life. It does cost 10 crystals, which is the premium currency of the game, but honestly, the game gives you so many crystals for free that you don't really need to worry about it. Being able to continue from where you left off serves a couple of purposes here. It enables you to practice harder songs for longer, but it also allows you to have the satisfaction of finishing a hard song that you otherwise wouldn't have finished. Having the second chance at a song further motivates players to continue the game and develops their growth mindset. Project Sekai also allows players to design teams with abilities to help them while playing. Some abilities simply just improve score, while others can mean the difference between passing and failing a song. The accuracy ability that some characters have will change good or great taps to perfect taps for a short period of time. This is very important to use if you're trying to get that special all-perfect full combo for a song. But the most important ability is the life recovery skill. This will allow you to recover big chunks of life that you may have lost throughout a song. This is very helpful when playing difficult songs. It gives players the chance to practice difficult patterns without just dying instantly. This develops a growth mindset within the player because it allows them to clear songs that are just barely outside of their skill range. This in turn encourages the player to practice those songs more and more until they actually become very proficient and pass the song without the training wheels of the life recovery mechanic. Project Sekai also allows players to customize their personal playing experience. This is seen through multiple different settings that the player can adjust to best suit their playstyle. The first and most obvious of these settings is the ability to adjust the speed that the notes come down the track. Feel like the notes are coming too slow down the track? That's fine, just turn up the speed. Feel like the notes are flying down the track faster than you can tap? That's fine, lower the speed. You can even fine-tune the exact speed that feels best for you by changing the number in the tenths place. Note speed is something that I will dive deeper into later, but let's just say that this had a huge impact on the way that I played the game. Next, we have the ability to keep track of the accuracy of how players hit notes. When turned on, this feature allows players to see during and at the end of the song if their non-perfect taps were hit slightly early or late. This then allows players to adjust their note speed accordingly. If you notice that you're hitting many greats slightly early, then make the note speed slightly faster. In the settings, we can also determine how much clutter is displayed on screen. And by clutter, I mean all of the music videos that the game has. I find them extremely distracting, so I just tend to turn them off. Having the option to turn them off not only gives players more agency in the game, but helps them develop their growth mindset by not discouraging them with cluttered gameplay. Another quick example of a setting like this is the ability to turn off the cut-in effects. When I first started playing, I didn't know you could turn these off, and found them quite annoying. I would be listening to the song and then randomly see a distraction on screen while a voice starts talking over the music. Figuring out that I could turn that off gave me so much more encouragement to continue playing this game. Lastly, Project Sekai encourages players to keep coming back by offering tons of daily rewards. I know this may seem like a small thing, but it truly does a great job at motivating players to continue coming back every day. It also seems like there's always some special event going on that grants players even more rewards just for logging into the game. So now that we've covered all of the different aspects of how Project Sekai helps players develop a growth mindset, let's move on to my own experience playing this game. When I was first introduced to this game, I initially thought it was very hard. I watched my fiancé play it on hard mode, which made the game look very difficult to a newcomer. I also didn't recognize any of the songs given that I didn't have any prior knowledge of what Vocaloid was. But as I watched more and more gameplay, I saw the success that my fiancé was having, and I felt the need to give it a try. I downloaded the game and immediately began practicing on hard difficulty. I wanted to catch up to her as fast as possible. After a few games, I got comfortable playing the hard difficulty and continued to practice all of the different songs. This is where I need to quickly jump in and give you all a very important piece of information. I was playing the game using my middle and pointer fingers on my right hand. This is how I watched my fiancé play, so I adapted her method of playing. I know all of the veteran players watching just cringed, but don't worry, we both ended up changing how we played later on. Here is an example of the type of song that I was able to complete within the first few days of owning the game. Throughout the next couple weeks, I discovered the setting to turn off the music videos and cut-in effects, making my gameplay improve quite a bit. I also had begun experimenting with expert level songs. Keep in mind, I was still under the mindset that expert and master difficulties were just something I would never be able to do. It was also around this time that I discovered the song level system. Apart from my initial success and enjoyment of playing the game, this was one of the first things that began to change my mindset. I immediately flocked to the easiest expert level songs and began testing them out. And through lots of practicing, I eventually found myself being able to get halfway through songs like Goodbye and Copycat on expert difficulty. This breakthrough was super exciting for me, and I started to believe that one day I could conquer expert difficulty entirely within the game. By the end of the second week, I had finally cleared Goodbye on expert difficulty. I had achieved what I once thought was impossible. But I wasn't done yet. Within the same play session, I also cleared Copycat and Reborn on expert difficulty. I was so excited and began trying some harder expert level songs like Bring It On or Ready Steady, two of my favorites at the time. You see, through the mere exposure effect, I'd grown to not only tolerate the sound of Vocaloid, but ended up really liking it. Here's an example of a song that I was able to finish around this time. Another week went by, but through playing some of the harder songs, it became apparent to me that I was hitting some type of roadblock. I just couldn't move my index and middle fingers fast enough or independently enough to complete certain patterns that were frequently showing up. My fiancé, who had also begun playing expert difficulty, was experiencing the same issue. Still encouraged by my previous success, I decided to do a little research. It wasn't long before I discovered that most people who played Project Sekai either use both pointer fingers or both thumbs to play the game. So I decided to give it a try, and what happened next absolutely blew me away. I was not only finishing, but I started getting full combos on both hard and expert difficulty songs. This small change in the way that I played had a huge impact on my success within the game. I now truly believe that I could one day beat master difficulty songs. I even began unlocking them when I did very good in expert difficulties. I also saw that people tended to play at much faster note speeds than the default 6 notes per second. So over the course of a few weeks, I increased the note speed by 1/10 every day, slowly adjusting my playstyle. Eventually, I settled down at 10.3 notes per second. Making the speed faster also helped to declutter the amount of notes on screen at once. This is the level of song that I was now able to complete. It had been almost a month since I first started playing Project Sekai. While I did unlock Master difficulty for many songs, I decided it was best for me to become more familiar with Expert difficulty before stepping up my game. That was until I played Rainbow Envy. Sorry if I butchered that. I noticed that this song had an extremely short runtime and also sat on the easier side of Expert songs. Now was my chance to try a Master difficulty song, and to my complete shock, I passed it on my first try. This started a wave of Master song completions for me. Yes, Master difficulty was harder than Expert, but because of the amount of time I had spent playing Expert, Master felt like a perfect progression of difficulty for me. Some of the easier songs on Expert that had started to feel a bit underwhelming were revived with more technical and tricky patterns that I was excited to beat. Over the next few months, I would hone in my skills and beat most of the game's songs on Master. Of course, there's still Expert difficulty juggernauts like the intense voice of Hatsune Miku, or Machine Gun Poem Doll, but I've recently been able to survive them, so that's progress. New songs are released frequently, and I've started to push for event rankings. I even managed to place near the top 700 in the Close Game Offline event. Here is an example of a song that I'm able to complete now. Next. Now I still have a long way to go before I'm finished with this game. There are still many songs that I either just barely clear or can't clear at all. But because of the way that this game was developed, I've been able to change from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and I truly believe that I'll be able to one day complete every song in the game on Master difficulty. I've even already unlocked the current hardest song on Master, Don't Fight the Music. But this all brings me to the last stop in documenting my journey. I like to practice songs that are completely out of my skill level with a full life recovery team. I call this a reach song. I feel that by playing these songs, I'm able to practice very difficult note patterns and build up muscle memory. And I also see real improvement, whether it be going further into a song than before, or finishing a song with more than 30 life remaining. Here is what I would currently consider to be a reach song for me. As you can all see, Project Sekai has had a huge impact on my mindset and has definitely given me a newfound respect for people that play rhythm games. I went from thinking that the game was impossible to believing that I could one day beat every song over the course of a few months. And I'm no special person with secret superpowers or abilities, just an average gamer. Which means that you, watching this video right now, can also beat master difficulty songs. You just need to have the right mindset. Thank you everybody for watching. This video was super fun to make and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. It's so crazy that I have 400 subscribers now. Please tell me in the comments about your own experience playing Project Sekai or just with a growth mindset in general. Also be sure to check out our Discord server where you can hang out with me and other friends. We host watch parties, listen to music, and play tons of games. Thank you all again, and please share this video if you found it interesting. Also, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you all in the next one.